Got the chain case of the Enticer 300 here. Gonna replace the bearings and the seals. Got the all balls set here. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a part number, but that's one part number right there. This fits most of the Enticers from the early 80s. Just got one of this that is the bottom seal out, and then there's a snap ring on the inside. I probably got a little bit too small of a snap ring pliers, but we'll see if I can get it out. Okay. There we go. Like that, and then I'll tip it upside down, and then I'll tap the bearing out, which I got too big of a socket by just a smidge, so I had to get a smaller socket.
Oh yeah, you owe me $50.
Why?
Fuck through my socket.
Yeah, right.
I'll never be able to use it again.
Alrighty guys, so we're using nothing but the finest of bearing drivers as a socket. There we go. So, that bearing is out. These were still pretty good. I don't think these... Oh, maybe OEM bearings. They have the Japanese logo on them. But I can keep these in like a safe place to reuse them again if I ever needed to in the future. This one here, we're gonna take our little pry bar, take the seal, like that. And almost hit my camera lady in the head with the seal. So that's how that works, just a little pry bar action. And then that one's out. This is gonna be your top one where your secondary clutch goes through, and you're gonna have to take the clutch obviously out in order to do this procedure. There's two bearings in here, and there's also a spacer in the center. So you basically have to go in there with a punch, tap one of the bearings out, then the spacer falls out, then you tap the other one out. So I guess I'll try to tap the big one out. I'll have to get a pretty decent sized punch, and I'll reach down in there and I'll tap on the inner part of the bearing and then tap it out. I'm just getting on the inner part of the bearing. Oh, there it goes. So I believe one of these is bigger or smaller. Obviously you can tell they're much different in size from this one to that one. This one, once again, feels actually really nice. Probably didn't even have to do any of these, but I want to do the seals, and if I'm doing the seals, they come with a kit. It's like 30 bucks a set, so it's pretty cheap. This spacer we'll have to reuse. Now I take the chain case, flip it back over this way, and then I will, probably should take, I wonder if the socket will fit. Sweet. See if it's gonna budge. I'll prop this up a little bit. Almost out. Proper equipment would be ideal, guys, but who wants to use the proper? There we go. Here's the other bearing. Also, once again, feels really good. So we got these two top bearings, lower bearing seal, upper bearing seal. New stuff is all in here, all balls racing. You get these on eBay. If you look up Enticer 300, Enticer 250 chain case bearings, you can get, they're individually packaged. So if you are doing a drive shaft install, if you're doing a jack shaft or your clutch install, obviously we're doing both, so we ordered both kits. So here's what it looks like. Basically all we gotta do now is we're gonna take this to the part, I gotta uncover the parts washer with 50 inner tubes. And then I'll wash this whole chain case up really nice. Get get all the bearing surfaces clean, and then I'll pound in the new bearings, lube them up, and then
Alrighty guys,
moved on to the Exciter 340. Also the same as the Exciter 440 chain case. You guys can see there's a number stamped in it. Doing the bearings and seals on this chain case. If you guys are looking for bearings, I think Spark went to O'Reilly's. Or he called O'Reilly's?
Oh, yeah,
He got national bearings. Here's the part barcode and the part number. 1135044-8. That one, and then this one here is also, it's a 305. See if that'll got the sun glitter there. But yeah, so those are bearings. How much were they? Like $29 or something a piece?
20. Well, my cost might be different from there.
Consumer cost maybe 30 bucks a piece. It beats the OEM prices for sure, and then you can get them right at your local auto parts store. So we put the first one in. This would be the lower bearing. So that one we just tapped out. You tap it out with basically like a socket or something, whatever you can get in there. Tap it out this way, take the snap ring out, and then reinstall it, tap it back down until it's flush with the bottom of the case. You can see it's got a stopping area here where it butts up against that. So I'll do the next one here, tap that sucker in, put the snap ring in, then we flip it over and do the seals. I did get OEM Yamaha seals because there's really no aftermarkets that I could find on eBay and Amazon and whatever else I looked. Alrighty guys, so just wanted to throw these part numbers here for the Exciter 340, 440 chain cases. These are the seal part numbers. These are OEM Yamaha seals. I don't know which one's lower and upper, but those are the two part numbers. Seals, one is larger, one is much smaller. And then the two bearings, like I said, I had a clip of the bearings from like O'Reilly Auto Parts, pretty much had some. Pretty simple install. The seals go flush with the outside of the aluminum housing. So I used a seal driver and tapped it flush. And you can use a flat piece of metal or whatever you got laying around to tap it in. Just flush with the surface. Put some grease on the lip of the seal. Any grease really will do. Just kind of helps so the spring won't pop off when you try to put a shaft through it. It'll kind of slide through the lips of the seal without tearing it or, like I said, popping the spring off, and then you're kind of screwed. It won't seal. So, yep, these are the part numbers for the 340 and 440 should be the exact same. The Enticer stuff you can get on eBay from All Balls Racing. I think Dennis Kirk might have them. MFG Supply probably has them. Spark's just going hard at her in the drilling. Alrighty guys, got the Exciter 340 skid up on the forklift here on the pallet. Also, the sled's looking cheery. We got the bars kind of mocked up. Guppy just came out of the bathroom, just destroyed the bathroom in here. Didn't even flush probably. Anyways guys, there's not a lot of information about these lube systems, and what a lube system is just getting your slides some lubrication, because when you're on the ice, there is no snow dust. With the no lubrication from the raw ice you're gonna be racing on, you gotta put something on the slides to keep them slippery. So we're gonna run a combination of like RV antifreeze, wind shear washer fluid, and we got some special pink dye that makes it pink because they want like pink colors. So guys, what we did here is we're gonna put one on each side in the front of the skid. And all we did was that copper nickel brake line? Copper nickel, you can actually form it. And we basically make a 90-degree bend, put a cable clamp with a self-tapper into this here part of the, I guess you'd say, cross shaft. And then that's dripping directly on the slide, and that's gonna kind of sit in there and cool it down. Because if it stays cool, it won't wear out. So here's the inside part of it. We have 3/16 line with a restrictor in the line and a 4-way T-fitting, and the exact same thing on the right front side here. You can see it's dripping directly on the slide. And you can get these restrictors from Wall Brothers. We got 8 of these. So guys, these are those restrictors. I think they're 50 thousandths. And you can get, however many you need on Wall Brothers. They're a few dollars, I think. We got 8. Obviously, we're going to have 4. We're going to have 2 in the rear, 2 in the front, and 2 skids. We have the Exciter and the Enticer both getting the same exact lube system. But this here front will go up through and then connect to our tunnel or run the line up the tunnel and then hook into our fuel pump that we have for pumping the lube. So basically these restrictors kind of reduce the flow. So if you just left it 3/16, you're probably gonna run out of lube and you're gonna go through really fast. This way it's only gonna drip so much on the slides because you don't really need a whole lot. You just need, I think it's like a couple quarts per 10 laps maybe is what you want. So we're using our oil injection bottles and we'll just fill that up and we'll run it and then we'll see how long it takes to empty it. And that'll be that. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna T-fitting, or I guess a Y-fitting right there, run the lines on each side of this, and then put the other brake line, 90-degree brake line right on each side, and we should be cherry. So once we get the finished product, I'll show you guys that, and then kind of how we're gonna do it on the sled, and then you guys can see how that all works. But just a very simple, inexpensive way to do it. The parts total probably is like 20 bucks, you know, something like that. We're not trying to break the bank because you don't really have to. You don't have to get that fancy. Alrighty guys, here's the Exciter skid, finished product of the lube system here. Here's the rear lubers we put on. That's that brake line dripping right on the slide. We put on the inside of the back and the outside of the front. So we just kind of flip-flopped them. You can see here the T-fitting, restrictor, just zip tied it to this stationary shaft here where the shock mount is. And then we have the line here. We may zip tie that to here. You might just let it hang. And then we put the excess line so we have plenty of to run to the tunnel and see where that has to go. Spark's bringing the Enticer 300 skid in right now. We're gonna do an exact duplicate of this. But yeah, this is the cheapest lube system you can really make and it actually looks pretty good. So this skid wasn't sitting in the water or anything.
Look how much shorter it is.
Yep, so here's the side-by-side lube system complete versus not started. Mine is going to be a little bit tougher with the steel, but other than that, I think we'll be okay. I'll give you guys just some close-up shots of that. You can see those restrictors in there. And these are just like Napa Auto Parts fuel line T-fittings, right, from Napa? T-fittings?
I got it from O'Reilly's.
O'Reilly's, guys. So you can find this stuff anywhere. So that's kind of how it looks back there. This way, it'll have a pulse pump, so it's gonna have constant flow, and the restrictor should restrict the fluid flow enough that it's gonna pump out all four of the outputs. So I would say we should be in good shape.
Oh, we're gonna be little boys.
And we'll see what happens. You know what we got around there. Maybe it won't work, but I think we're pretty good.